It's certainly the big story. So a member of the eSwatini parliament, that's Mduduzi Simelane, says governance has broken down amid pro-democracy protests that are spreading throughout the kingdom. Just yesterday, a SADC delegation arrived to begin talks with King Mswati III as protesters call for the release of 2 pro-democracy MPs that are jailed on terrorism charges. In fact, Simelane has been sought by the eSwatini police on these same charges. He's currently in hiding and also joins us now via our video link to share a bit more about his plight. And Mduduzi, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks very much indeed for speaking to us, given the circumstances under which our conversation is taking place. My understanding is that there's actually a warrant for your arrest that's currently out. I imagine that's why, in part, you're in hiding. But how concerned are you that your life is also at risk?
Thank you so much, leadership, for hosting me here. Really, it's a tough time in our lives as Mswati, but we thank God we're still pushing on.
Yeah. Speak to us about how worried you are, Mduduzi, about whether or not your life is under threat at all. We've seen so much violence through the clips that have made it through the internet blockage that's currently in place in eSwatini. How worried are you that if you were found, this would quite literally have a bearing on whether or not you continue living?
My brother, it's a very tough time to be Swazi. It's a very tough time to be me at this juncture. I know for sure that they're paying for my blood, but it's not only that they're paying for my blood only. They're paying for all the blood of all our people back home. So I'm very worried about myself, but I'm most worried about the brutality that is currently taking place among my people in Swaziland. So it's a very sad scenario. Much as I tried so hard to keep myself safe here, but my heart is torn apart as our people are being butchered by the state day in and day out.
Right. The situation has largely been quite fluid in eSwatini. What do you know about the status or the environment as you and I are speaking now there?
I can safely say that we no more have a government in Swaziland. I don't want to speak about the morale of our people being so low, but I want to emphasize the fact that may the world understand that currently we have a military state in Swaziland because everything is done through the barrel of the gun. Fear is what is being instilled among our people. Maybe to further push that hard, I would like to say that you must take note that the parliament has cracked. The speaker cannot call the parliament now because he knows very well that quite a sizable number of the MPs are calling for the addressing of the situation when he is captured by the state. So that's the reason why I'm saying currently we don't have a government in Swaziland. We only have a military state. People are instilled with fear day in and day out.
Yeah. My understanding, in fact, is about 18 to 20 or so MPs who are pushing for this to be addressed. And as you've rightly mentioned, it's not possible because you can't even convene as parliamentarians. What has been the impact of that, given the fact that the government in and of itself has been hamstrung for quite some time before this?
Yes, I didn't get the last part of the question.
I was just asking, what is the impact of government not being able to convene because, as you've put it, the speaker doesn't want to convene a sitting? What impact is that having in a context where the government had always been constrained anyway?
We are living at a time whereby we live from the mind of the executive. Because the parliament cannot convene, the parliament is the only voice of the people. If then the speaker cannot convene the voice of the people, it then tells us that we're living from the mind of the executive. That is the reason why when they want to brutalize the people, they just do that willingly. When they want to switch off the internet, they just do it willy-nilly because the voice of the people has been cut off. When they want to ban the delivering of petitions or the peaceful marches of our people in all the cities, they just do that willy-nilly and publicly. So in short, the way I look at things, Swaziland needs help today more than ever because the issue of human rights, the issue of proper governance is a folktale in Swaziland. So let me just say that we really do not have a government, and we really plead to the international community to come in and do to us what they did to the crisis during the time of Lesotho.
Sure. It's also within that context that you are also quite hopeful that something will come out of the envoy that's been sent by SADC, with President Cyril Ramaphosa quite prominent in that decision-making. On what basis are you hopeful that this will result in any meaningful change when we've seen the envoy before draw a lot of criticism because of the lack of change that came after that meeting?
It's a very sad story. I know our king and the monarchy, they are very good in sending a wrong narrative to the world. I know the envoy that has been sent by Ramaphosa, the first thing that they will tell them that our people must comply with the constitution whenever they voice their grievances. I must put it to your attention that this constitution is not a constitution of the people. It is a constitution of the monarchy. Through this constitution, it is not possible to bring in the changes that are sought by the people. Like, take for instance, they will say they need a 2/3 majority of MPs in order to change the constitution, which is impossible. The one who designed this constitution knew very well when he was doing it. It's on that note that I'm saying I so pray and wish that the envoy that has been sent to Swaziland will be strong enough to dispute whatever lies that will be said by the monarchy and the king to them, because we know that already they've lined a lot of lies to tell to these envoys that are coming from South Africa. But I have all the faith, I have all the confidence. The ball is in the hands of the envoys to come and restore peace and order in the people of Swaziland. Much against what most of the people are saying. I'm sure a number of people are saying, because SADC was here in June 29, then what else can we expect from them? But I'm saying I have all the faith that after seeing all the unrest, I believe that the South African-led delegation will really bring what the eSwatini are looking for. Actually, it will be a very sad note if they leave the situation as it is.
Right, and that's really what I was going to ask. What does a productive, successful meeting look like to you? I mean, the statements that have been sent out, even from SADC, speaks of a long-lasting solution, which can feel very elusive in some respects, not only for people watching from the outside, but I imagine a lot of people who are still suffering from inside eSwatini.
My brother, the lasting solution in this scenario is that the people no more want the king. They are fed up. We know for a fact that he will not accept that. He will not take it cheap. He will fight hard. But the lasting solution in this issue is that the people have said it loud and clear. That's demonstrated that they no more want the monarchy because the monarchy is so oppressive to our people. Yes, we will need dialogue, but we don't need dialogue to request democratic government. We believe that the right to have a democratic government is God given. The only thing we can have a referendum on is the question of, are people still happy with the monarchy or not? So let that be clear. We are no more, we don't want a referendum for determining if we need democratic government or not. That one is a given. The only thing that can only be put into a question is the question of, is there anybody who needs the king now after all the atrocities that have befallen our people? But I can bet a number of our people, they no more want the king because of what he has done to our people.
Sure. Speak to us about the cost of what's been happening for a couple of weeks now. The death toll, as is being reported, is hovering at around 30 or so, but the protests have been going on for weeks. Do you imagine that number to be much higher, given how difficult it is to even be sharing information because of things like the internet blackout?
My brother, it will be very hard to give you the accurate figures, taking into consideration that they strategically switched off the internet so that a number of these dead bodies cannot be seen. Please, may I put it into your attention that it is nurses, it is teachers that were shot and brutalized by the state. Let me make it clear that they had requested a right to march into the labor ministry, a march to go and be in support of the two MPs who were supposed to appear in court. But okay, they were even given a permit to do that. But the government overnight changed the decision and decided to unleash live rounds of ammunition on nurses. I'm very sure that these police who were unleashing these bullets onto the nurses, and before sunset, they will be in hospital needing help from the very same nurses they shot. It is so pathetic what is happening in South Africa.
There are some who say that you can't delay an idea whose time has come. That certainly feels like the sentiment from, at least from eSwatini, who are resolute that the unrest, the disruption will not stop until they get their way. I know there's no telling the future from your vantage point, but what do you imagine happens next after this? What happens after the SADC delegation comes back from its mission and there isn't really any material, call it tangible outcome?
My first message will be to tell the delegation from South Africa that the lives of the people of Swaziland depends on them. It's either they betray the lives of the masses and stand with the oppressor, or they decide to stand with the masses and tell the oppressor to go to hell. But having said that, allow me to tell you, my leader, that I can assure the world, I can assure everybody that there will never be peace in Swaziland until the people of the beautiful country get what they are looking for. By any means possible, I'm very certain, I'm very sure, I've never been as confident as now that democracy is indeed coming to the people of Swaziland. Someone once said, no night has ever been too long, such that the sun never rises. I can really say that we need help from the world, but if the world is failing to assist us, we will find means, any possible means within ourselves to make sure that we overthrow this dictator that is busy ambushing our people and looting the economy of our beautiful country.
Chilling remarks and reflections there. Mduduzi Simelane, thanks very much indeed for your time, sir. Really do appreciate it. Mduduzi Simelane is eSwatini's Member of Parliament, at least one of them. He's currently in hiding, speaking to us there via video link. Once again, thanks very much indeed.